What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Miriam Thomas. Read by today's title, it's gonna be my pregnancy journey part 1. Let's get cozy guys. So I'm gonna talk about how I got pregnant with my second child. So I have a few things here that I've written down that I'm just gonna be reading so I remember some things just in case I forget anything. So after my daughter was at the time 3 years old, and so me and my boyfriend decided it's time to give her a sibling from me, that is. She would always feel so bad whenever she would see other babies play with their siblings, and she would always tell me, "Mommy, I want a sister, I want a brother." And I was like, okay. I mostly wanted a baby sister for some reason, I don't know why, but I think it comes with the territory of being a girl, right? I mean, if it was a boy, I'm sure they would be like, "I want a baby brother," or some kids, at least that's what I think. But yeah, so that was it. And then me and the bae started talking that maybe it's time, and I was ready because I am a C-section person, right? I get cesareans, so I was like, okay, my body has gotten to that point where I'm ready for another baby. And also guys, one thing about me, I've always wanted to have my kids like before I turn 30, hey, but life doesn't work out that way. Fast forward, I started getting symptoms like something is not right with my body. You always know your body, right? Fast forward, my period came. I mean, my period days came, but I was late. I'm checking 1 day late, 2 days late, 3 days late. So I spoke to him about it, and he was like, "Well, you gotta get a test and just make sure." And I was like, okay, cool. He kept telling me to like find out, and I just kept delaying it for some reason. I don't know why. Eventually, I decided to get a test. So we went out to the supermarket, and I got a test, a strap test. I will put a little clip of it. Come in the morning, I take the test. When my aunt gave me that call, I think I waited for like 5 minutes, and boom, came out 2 lines straight. I was excited, and I was like, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to keep it a secret, and then I'm going to I'm gonna find a way to surprise my boyfriend, right? I bought 2 more tests, right? I bought the digital one, I forgot what it's called. I'll insert a picture of it. I first tested for the other one just to make sure, you gotta make sure. And then it came out positive, and I was like, okay, now we can do the one that the digital one tells you. It writes pregnant plus how many weeks. So it wrote pregnant plus I think 2 to 3 weeks. That was around October. I had to figure out a way to let him know, but I think in the shop I picked up something else that was like baby specifiers. I remember that evening I surprised him with it, and then he was so excited, and there was actually a little cute letter that I wrote, and I'm gonna insert it right here. After that, yeah, the pregnancy journey started. I was excited. I was so excited, like to have to go through the same experience again, to be a mom. It was just the best feeling ever. The way I told my mom the first time, I would go for sonas. Traditionally, you are not supposed to let your parents know before your first trimester or something like that. But also there is another myth about you're not supposed to let people know before you start showing. Yes, before you start showing. How do I let her know this time? Because with my first, I gave her like my Sona pictures, and with like a little card that is written grandmother. So that's what I surprised her, and she couldn't believe it. She was like, what is this? I'm like, it's Sona pictures. And she's like, oh, whose? And I'm like, they're mine. Your grandchild is here. But with my second pregnancy, I was so sick, I was going through the worst symptoms ever. that I just couldn't. She would ask me what's wrong, and I would just tell her, no, I'm just throwing up, I don't know what's happening, I think it's food poisoning. Because it's not that I was scared to tell her, it's just because I wanted to tell her in a special way, but I didn't know how. But I got so sick that I just had to come out with it, basically. So I just told her, like, we went to the doctor, I'm pregnant, my second baby. And she was happy. She was very happy. My mom loves kids, guys. Like, my mom loves kids. Like, she loves her grandkids so much. She asked me when I'm due and all of this, and she was like, oh, how is it going? Because since your first pregnancy, it was really, really bad. Like, how is it going this time, like with the symptoms and everything? And I was like, no, it's, you know, it's just the same pretty much. Nothing much has changed. But I'm gonna insert a clip of me talking about my symptoms. Right now I don't remember a lot of it, but here's a clip of when I was pregnant and I was talking about my symptoms of my first trimester. So guys, my first trimester, the symptoms were pretty bad, guys. Like, I was constantly throwing up, I was always exhausted, and the worst part, it was in December. I had very bad, horrible sense of smell. I wasn't liking anything. I wasn't liking any smell of anything, any sort at all. I couldn't even stand my own body wash, lotion, deodorant, nothing, guys. Like, literally nothing. There was a point where I was using powder as a form of deodorant, because like I just couldn't, you know, I couldn't use anything. I couldn't find anything that was suitable for me at the time. I also had to just tell my boo to stop using most of his perfumes, because I was like, none of them are working for me, babe. Like, if you want us to be happy and to be peaceful in this house, don't do it, don't try it. Sense of smell, it was so bad. I couldn't really keep anything down. I was always throwing up. And also my body, the way my body changed, not very much. I think I lost weight. I could still fit in some of my clothes, because I was a size 28 and I was still just a size 28. I didn't go to a 26 or anything. I started gaining weight and the bump came out to show, which is pretty funny, because I feel like in this pregnancy it started showing very earlier than the first pregnancy. On the emotional side of things, you know, sometimes you become pretty emotional. Oh boy, my second trimester was hectic, with a capital H. But you know, pregnancies are fun. You know, we have the fun part of it, and then we have the other part of it that nobody really likes. My first trimester, the symptoms started coming down a bit towards my second trimester. It was much better. I was starting to glow, basically, but nobody knew that I was expecting at the time. Still, I hadn't really told a lot of people. I wasn't like as out with this pregnancy as I was with my first one. I think it's always like that for some people, because you're like very excited in your first pregnancy. So my second pregnancy, I kind of like kept it to myself. Actually, me and my boyfriend spoke about keeping it to ourselves for a while before we started telling people. 4 to 5 months, hey, just us two, before I told any of my friends, before anybody knew. We just kept it at home. I don't even think the sister knew. She lives with us, the little sister. I don't even think she knew. Maybe she knew from me, obviously, like the actions, what's happening, if she could put 1 and 2 together. But if she didn't, then I don't think she knew. I mean, adults obviously know. People, like, let me tell you something. Our old people always know, like our parents, the aunties, the uncles, but they don't say anything. It's a good experience. My first trimester was really good. I was craving, I think I wasn't really craving much, hey, because I couldn't really keep anything down. But one thing that I hated the most was the fact that I had to work with my clients, and I was so sick that I had to cancel some orders. I had to like not take on some orders. Excuse the noise, guys. If you can hear that noise, it's just outside. I'm obviously at home. So it's just the kids playing outside. And every time I keep looking this direction, I'm actually looking at the window. There are kids playing outside. So if you hear any noises, please do not mind that. It was just hard, man, to work while going through that. Because I would work with like a little basin next to me. And every time like I felt like I needed to go, I would go. But at least you learn how to like kind of control it. If you've been pregnant or you're pregnant right now, you can relate definitely if you went through this. So I would like put the little basin next to me and I'll just like, you know, go, and then babe will come and get the basin and take it and go throw it out and bring it back. And he knew what I wanted to eat. Like I could only eat like liquids. Like I think my favorite thing to drink was always Rain Fontaine mango juice. I would chuck that one down. Like that was my go-to. Yogurt, my favorite yogurt, the Bliss, either with hazelnut or chocolate, whatever, like those two. I also got into the strawberry quite a lot. It's also very nice. I wasn't really a meaty person. You know what, one thing that I really envied, I had a cousin who was pregnant around the same time as me. I also had a friend, but those guys didn't go through they didn't go through the symptoms of getting sick and all of that. Their pregnancies were smooth sailing. Their first trimester, I was like, why am I this person? And they're enjoying their lives. Fast forward in the pregnancy, in my second trimester, I think I kept talking about wanting to do a photo shoot. Because me and my favorite cousin, I know the rest of my cousins are going to kill me for saying this, but me and my other cousin were basically pregnant at the same time. And we were like, I think 2 months or a month apart. Because I gave birth in July and she gave birth in August. So we did most of our things together. Oh, you're gonna have a baby girl again because of the way your belly is shaped. Let me tell you guys something. My dear. Oh, they legit had all kinds of things to say. Ae pundangerora shapingwara fampano tomonoka nakachange ngero topitwange ngei otomonoka nakachange. Like for me it was a thing of ngero topitwako ngero topitwana itokungu ngwe kujana uvitena iketimbo like heavily topitwa. That means kucha ae okano kano kamat. And I remember with even my first pregnancy, which was a girl by the way, I have a daughter. Everybody was like, oh, topito na okano kamati onokano kamati. And then eventually they tell you kuchanwa something about beauty. Anwa the girls steal your beauty. The boys let you be pretty because anwa shashanwa they let you have a little bit of prettiness left out of you. I feel like with my daughter, I was actually looking better. My son, hey, guys, we're not even going to talk about it. This boy that left me looking all kinds of wrong, but my photo shoot came through. The guy didn't edit my face, please don't come for me. He did not edit my face, but I'll insert pictures here.